Alright, as a reminder, I want my ashes to go to Wallace, Idaho, in the event that the current fasting slash hunger strike were to warrant it. But a common catchphrase that I hear a lot of people say, right, when I was first going on intermittent fasting 2 years ago, and I told my family how good and lightweight I feel when I go on a fast, and I wish I could stop eating. Now, my mom is crazy about this. She says that I'll die if I stop eating. She was like, you could try it, but I don't think it will be good. You may end up dead. I gotta point out something, though. To live in agony all the time because you're heavy-hearted from eating is not living, right? To enjoy a couple of months of fasting and then to fade away and then move on, that might actually be living, right? So let me give a few examples. So right now I am 22 hours into fasting. Very lightweight attitude. Things that normally would bother me a lot slide right off of me, right? So if I have a job interview and I get very nervous when people talk very slowly and deliberately and you don't know what they're going to say next, and I have a bad habit of interrupting when that happens, right? Somebody is giving me news that I think could be bad, and trying to think when this happened last. You just get very edgy. When I'm fasted, I can take in all sorts of news, right? And think more objectively think with my brain instead of my gut reaction, right? Let's put it that way. I get very nervous when I have to hear something that's really slow and agonizing. I just had to deal with had a car accident, had to deal with the insurance company, and when you're talking formal business like that, the insurance company almost never cuts to the chase, right? They want to lowball you, but they don't want to say it like they want to lowball you. They throw a bunch of figures and conversation and all that. And I just got very edgy, and I hung up the phone, and I gave myself 24 hours to fast, and I called back, and it was day and night. I could actually negotiate objectively. See, that's what I call living, even if I only get a few more months of that, right? Now, the other problem is, and the reason why I'm going on this hunger strike, feel free to leave a comment if you feel hunger strike is not the right terminology for this. I want to be able to sit down and discuss some things at my workplace. So, for example, I don't think anybody is discriminating against me purposely, but I live my lifestyle quite a bit differently than a lot of my peers, and they just might not realize, right? So, for example, 2 weeks ago, I was trying to get some time off to do some personal things, and my manager just kept blowing me off. He was like, we'll tell you about the schedule later. And I wish if he had just sat down with me for 10 minutes to understand my point of view, it could have turned out differently. But unfortunately, his attention span is like 2 sentences. Like, as soon as I start talking, he jabbers away, and I can't get any input into him. Not that it's his fault or anything. It's just that he doesn't seem to have the same wavelength, right? And one thing that almost everybody is universally concerned about is last year when I lost a lot of weight. Right, my family was concerned for me. Unfortunately, my mom still jabbers when I try to explain to her about some differences. And if only she would just sit down and listen for 5 minutes, she would understand everything that's going on, and how what she thinks I want in my life is very different. Right? If only she would just sit down for 5 minutes. I can't get 2 words into her ears before there's an explosion. And I'm thinking, once I lose another 30 pounds and I go home and she's concerned for me, that's the time when she can actually sit down and listen, right? Especially when I'm ready to eat again and she's preparing food for me, which she loves to do, by the way. That's when we can finally sit down and talk, right? And she'll listen. And keeping my eyes on that prize is very important to me. And I do want to make sure this happens. I'm shooting for this Mother's Day because my grandparents are are getting old. They're in their 80s and 90s, and this may be the last chance to make things right and to make my family accept solo sexuality for what it is. And the stuff at my workplace, it's annoying more than anything else. I mean, it's not life altering, but at the same time, to not even be able to input like 2 sentences, right? I know we have wacky hours, and I love to take them. How about some other needs that I have, right? I just wish we could do that, right? It's not like I want to deny him that he needs these wacky hours done. You know, if it's something that I can contribute, sure. But at the same time, I haven't been able to sit down and discuss, and maybe even work a better solution, right? So maybe we can handle it even better than doing these wacky hours. But there's no dialogue. That's the problem that I have, right? Anyways, so I go on. So the bottom line is, you don't die if you stop eating. You live when you stop eating, right? Thanks for watching.